I see. So does the patient letting the people around them know that they are seeking help would actually help them to stick to the treatment more, or
Sometimes they
actually
find it, yeah. So sometimes my clients will find that talking to their spouse about it would be more helpful, because they'll tell the spouse, like, please remind me to do this. Please remind me to do my mood journal. Yeah.
So actually somebody to keep them accountable other than their therapist.
And also, I think to help them know that I am trying right now. So don't push me too much, but don't let me slack off too much as well. Yeah.
I see. Okay. Yep. So just now we talked about, a lot of people, they actually are very interested to become a clinical psychologist in Malaysia, or generally counselor or therapist here in Malaysia. So before we wrap up this interview, right, can you actually give some advice to people out there, especially school leavers, who are interested to pursue a career in clinical psychology or generally in the mental health field?
Think about it a lot, because kind of get to know why you're going into it. If you're going into it because you think it is glamorous, it's not. It really isn't a glamorous job. There will be a lot of tears. It's going to be a lot of stress, but it's very rewarding. So really think about what is the reason you think you want to go into mental health. And don't be afraid to seek help for yourself, because if you don't know therapy, if you don't know what therapy is like, how are you going to give therapy to other people? Don't be afraid to conquer your own stresses, your own low moods, anxiety, all those kind of things. Because if you don't, you cannot really connect with your clients anyway. So it's okay. So now I think a lot of therapists, a lot of psychologists, counselors, we all have our own issues, and we're open with that, because if not, how can our clients relate to us?
Yeah. I totally agree with that, because as a psychology student, last time when I was studying, I had experience of having to going to seek help for some problems that I had in my life, and then when I shared out with people around me, they would be like, oh wow, so they are psychology students as well, but then they were still taken aback that I actually went to seek help from a psychologist. Definitely, even though you're a psychology student, but that does not mean that you don't have any stereotype or stigma around this mental health field. So just now you mentioned that there are actually a lot of tears when it comes to pursuing a career in the field of mental health. So may I know that does that mean that the process of earning that master degree, it's very difficult, or how is that like?
It's very taxing emotionally and physically, because for my course, especially my course, I had to balance seeing clients, taking classes, doing assignments, and thesis, I think. So it's balancing a lot of things at the same time. So it's very taxing.
All this process, it happens together.
So for my course, it does happen together. In other courses, I think they finish all their courses in 1 year, and then the second year is just clients only. But mine was all together. 2 years, and then so that was taxing that way. And then the course itself, if you have a psychology background, it is easier. You have to have a psychology background, but if you recently had a psychology background, it is easier in a way, because you still remember all your courses, all your modules. But if it's been a while, so maybe you have to refresh your memory. So I think the course itself was okay, but all the things that you had to juggle, that was tough. And then a lot of times you see, I think for me, because I came out straight from degree, I did my master's straight, and I saw all my peers already working and I'm still studying. So I think the peer pressure is like, oh, I'm not earning money, I'm spending money, and no one understands what I'm going through. So so if you want to pursue this, you have to get very good social support and know your own self-care, and always remind yourself why you're doing it.
Okay, I can see where you're coming from. So just now you also mentioned a bit about the job opportunity. So at the moment, because actually sometimes I do see some clinical psychologists working in hospital, but then at the moment you would still say that the job opportunity out there is really, really, really very competitive, is it?
It is competitive, and I do not know why. Because there's really not many clinical psychologists in Malaysia. Hospitals are a bit harder to get in because it's government linked. For government hospitals. So hospitals are harder to get in. So a lot of us are working in private centers, or even if hospitals, it's not full time there, because hospitals mainly a psychiatrist.
I see.
So yeah, so I think that's why a lot of us are working as associates or as part-timers instead of full-time. The full-timers are mostly in, uni counselors, like in uni counseling centers, yeah.
So in your own opinion, do you see that will there be an increase, an exponential increase for job opportunity for clinical psychologists in the years to come, or it will stay this way probably for another few more years?
I think it's for another few more years. I forgot when. There was this talk with one of the KKM person, I think, either KKM or Ministry of Education person. She was saying that she was coming out with a blueprint to help increase the job opportunities for psychologists and counselors. So that blueprint is not out yet. So probably in a year or two, then maybe there'll be more opportunities for people. But currently it's quite competitive.
Okay, so definitely the future of psychology in Malaysia is definitely growing. So if let's say people are interested in this field, then they can definitely put their effort and time and resources into this, because in the future it looks okay at the moment compared
to... It is very much needed, yes.
Because previously, I remember, when I was still in high school, choosing to major in psychology, people would be like, "Oh, are you sure this is a very, not popular course compared to others?" But then I remember when I was probably when I was in year 1, year 2, and then it got better. Like psychology got more and more popular.
Yeah, I think psychology in general, like psychology field itself, is very big. So you can go into HR, you can go into marketing, you can go into many things. But the niche, you go to counselor or clinical psychologist, yeah.
So I think this will be the final question, because I actually have one of my uni friends actually started studying clinical psychology, and then I think she probably will be done with it by the end of this year. But she was just asking, how can she actually get a clinical psychology placement in the government setting? Is there like a proper SOP being set up by the government, or how is that so?
Placement as in after graduation?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, for after graduation, I'm not too sure, but I'm pretty sure you can just apply to them. There's no specific way to go in. So normally we just apply. So I think for my friends, they did it during the internship.
I see.
So during internship, because it's linked with uni, it's a bit easier to get in. But there's not many placements. I think there are not many placements in hospitals because there are not many clinical psychologists in hospitals. So as I said, you need supervisor, right?
Yeah.
So because there's not many there, you can't get in. So find a hospital that has clinical psychologists, and I think Penang, mostly in Penang. Yeah, it's mostly in Penang.
I see.
Right now, Penang and Sabah. So you can just go talk to them and just send a resume like a normal job interview.
So I think she could actually utilize the resources that the school provided, to help them to connect with each other. Okay, so I think I already, asked the questions that I wanted to ask. So if there is anything that you want to add on, about generally being a clinical psychologist.
I think knowing that, like a lot of people want to study this and then they want to go overseas to work. Know that the credentials are very different. So in Malaysia, you need a master's to be a clinical psychologist, but I think in the US and UK, you need a PhD. So don't expect to get a master's here and then work overseas. That's one of it. And yeah, it is not glamorous. You think it's high paying, it's not high paying as well. So it is a job. And remember, I think if you're in it, you remember that you are here to help people. Always remember your goal and why you started it. That will help you continue it, especially if you're in the master's course. A lot of times it's very easy to drop out.
I see.
Because it's not worth it, it's too tough, or it's too taxing. So remember why you started and always take care of yourself. Don't be so focused on helping others until you don't take care of yourself. Because as I said earlier, if you are sick, you can't help people. If you are feeling mentally drained, you can't help people. If you're feeling burnt out, you can't help people. So seek your own help, and yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a very good insight, because I think generally about being a clinical psychologist or maybe therapist or counselor, the first thing first that you have to do is to really understand yourself, to be okay with the problems that you have, so that you will be able to be more productive towards helping others. Yeah. So okay. So I think I've really, asked all the questions that I wanted to ask, and really thank you so much, for saying yes to this interview and then waking up so early on a Sunday morning to do this interview with me. Yeah, and I really believe that the information and the insights that you have shared with me throughout this interview session would be, very helpful for people out there that are interested to become a clinical psychologist, especially here in Malaysia, where information really it's very hard to find. Yeah. So thank you so
Thanks for
much.
having me.
And then, yep, no problem. Thank you so much. And then take care. I hope to see you soon.
Thank you so much for watching till this far, and that's all I have for you guys today. If you haven't catched the part 1 of this interview, do go to my channel and watch the part 1 of the interview. And let's say if you like this video, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and also share it out with your friend. And if you are interested in psychology and also personal development content, then do not forget to hit the subscribe button so that you wouldn't miss any of my future content. Till then, I will be seeing you guys in my next video. Bye bye!